California's state pension system has just given the thumbs up to Nelson Peltz in his fight against CEO Bob Iger and the rest of the Walt Disney Company board. The impact of institutional shareholder services is having exactly the effect that we thought it would. Renegade Online. Well, folks, welcome back. Another great day here at Valiant Renegade. It's good to see everybody out there once again. And if you are like one of the many watching this video not yet subscribed to this channel, please take a moment and turn that little red subscribe button to gray. Hit that like button, hit that notification bell, share this sucker out on the social medias, and of course, please do leave a comment before you head out the door today. Make sure to join us every Sunday afternoon right here at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show. Nelson Peltz of Trian just keeps on winning. This from the Hollywood Reporter breaking late last night. CalPERS, that's the California pension system, votes for Nelson Peltz and Jay Rasulo in the Disney Boardroom battle. The vote gave Trian Partners another boost in its campaign just days ahead of Disney's annual shareholder meeting on April 3rd. And don't forget, folks, we will be covering that annual shareholder meeting of the Walt Disney Company on Wednesday, April 3rd, live right here on Valiant Renegade in a special edition of the show. That will begin at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there. The California Public Employees Retirement System, or CalPERS, said the U.S. pension fund has voted to elect activist investor Nelson Peltz and Jay Rasulo to the board of the Walt Disney Company, Reuters reported on Friday. CalPERS believes Walt Disney Company will benefit from fresh eyes on its board of directors and voted its company shares in favor of candidates Nelson Peltz and Jay Rasulo. CalPERS, which owns 6.65 million shares in the media giant at the end of December, told The Hollywood Reporter. CalPERS joins advisory firm Egan-Jones, which has already noted it's backing Peltz and Rasulo, and Institutional Shareholder Services, which ultimately recommended a vote for Peltz. The vote comes just days ahead of Disney's annual shareholder meeting on April 3rd, where the final showdown is set to take place over 2 seats on the entertainment giant's corporate board. That's when investors will cast their votes. In the last video, we covered the story from the Wall Street Journal, which came out the night before. Disney Trian blitz shareholders for votes in the last stretch of the Proxy fight. This article also revealed that Neuberger Berman was backing the Trian stake, but there was another key piece of information in here that was leaked to WSJ. And that was this. According to Wall Street Journal, many of the company's largest institutional shareholders, such as BlackRock and Vanguard, have yet to cast their votes and often wait until closer to the deadline. And that's true. Normally, the big firms do wait until Monday or Tuesday or even Wednesday morning in this case, just before the annual shareholder meeting that's going to take place around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Individual investors are expected to have an outsized sway given that they hold more than 1/3 of Disney's shares. So far, a minority of shareholders have voted. As of Tuesday, that's this past week, just over 22% of shares had been cast, according to people familiar with the matter, and the bulk of them held by individual and smaller investors. Among those, the 22% that is, who have already cast their votes, Nelson Peltz leads Disney director Maria Elena Lagomasino, while Jay Rasulo, the other name on the Trian slate, has so far failed to gain much of a foothold with shareholders. A spokesman for Disney said leaking an early vote count was, quote, a highly inappropriate way to sway votes. And as we stated in the previous video, a leak of this nature is indeed inappropriate, as the quote from the Disney spokesperson suggests. But that being said, this CalPERS vote of 6.65 million shares would, in theory, have come after this article released, as the news of this just broke last night. So that is another big pile of votes for Nelson Peltz and also Jay. So once again, I want to be clear. A proxy fight against a company of this magnitude is always an uphill battle. And as we've stated from early on, Nelson Peltz always had an outside chance. But he's not a stranger to this. He's done this many times before. And as it stands right now, just days before The final tally of this Disney board vote is set to take place on Wednesday, April 3rd. Nelson Peltz looks to still be in the driver's seat, which is amazing. And it may continue to go down that road. If people like the California pension system are going to get behind Nelson and Jay, well, then you can't automatically write off the bigger players like Vanguard and BlackRock. I still think BlackRock is a longer shot, but then they are advised by people like ISS. And then, of course, there's Vanguard out there. Vanguard is going to have maybe a little bit different attitude towards this than somebody like BlackRock will, as we've seen Vanguard changing its tune with ESG in the recent months. At the end of the day, the right course of action is what is best for the Disney shareholders. This is about fiduciary responsibility. And just like recent EEOC complaints filed from places like America's First Legal against the Walt Disney Company and their recent letter to the Disney board that they published just a few days ago, I think there's going to be more attention paid going forward. I think we're reaching a point where certain quote-unquote woke practices in corporate America are going to come under increasing fire as even the big players, the mutual fund companies out there, realize that, yes, indeed, we still do have a duty to our clients. We still have a duty to those who invest in our mutual funds. We have a duty to the ultimate shareholders. And these folks like Vanguard and BlackRock and T. Rowe Price and so on down the line, American funds, throw them all in there. At the end of the day, they are custodians of your money. And they are custodians of you, the shareholders of these companies, not just Disney, but everybody on the Fortune 500. How about everybody on the S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ? All of these publicly traded companies, yes, they have fiduciary responsibilities to you. And I think maybe, just maybe, this could be a very positive sign of a change in the winds moving forward, because we have to get back to sensibility, and Disney is about the furthest thing from it right now under Bob Iger's leadership. Last year, we covered the annual shareholder meeting back in April of 2023. It was one for the ages and some of the spiciest comments that we've ever heard during something of that nature. Far more than what you'll ever get on a Disney earnings call each and every fiscal quarter. You don't want to miss this one, because unlike last year, even as spicy as that was, we didn't have a Nelson Peltz and a Proxy fight that made it all the way up until the date of this meeting. And we're going to have one hell of a panel to cover that annual shareholder meeting with a whole bunch of experts from finance, tax, and legal. You do not want to miss it. Set your notifications to this channel. We'll have that live show up by the time you see this video, and we hope to see you there. And apart from our regular Sunday show, we'll also be having a special live show Monday night, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss that one either. Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.